Hey guys, Kathy here, and I figured I would share something seasonal that I've been working on here in my little new hobby studio. I'm getting into doing ceramics and having a blast with that. So anyway, I thought I'd show you some pumpkins. I'm using a low fire clay, and for this project you'll need about a pound. You can use more, but for these little pumpkins I'm using a pound and then a little bit extra to do stem and leaf out of. The tools I have are I have like some slip. You can use a little bit of water since this is fresh clay, but I have some slip here. I've got a little scoring tool. You could also use a toothpick if you don't have a scoring tool or a needle tool. I have a needle tool as well. I have one of these little wooden tools with this end, and I'll show you. I use both of these ends in making my pumpkins. I have one of these little wooden tools, which this is what I use on the stems. You probably could use a toothpick on the stems as well if you don't have one of these. And then for something for texture, adding texture to the pumpkin, I've got these little tools. I think they're from MK Tools. This is a little texture roller with a wave. Here's one with a little Celtic design. But for this one, I think I'm going to use, this one is maple leaves. So I've got this for texture. And then I have a little water off to the side. Because you're going to want to wet this roller when you do your texture. That helps it not stick to the clay. I've also got this little guy, which I'll use to roll out my little bit of clay to do a leaf. And then I've got one of these are like little fondant cutters in the shape of an ivy leaf actually. And we'll use that. We'll roll out our clay and then we'll stamp out our leaf and cut it out and attach it after we've put the stem on. So we'll get started, and what I've already done is, this is half a pound. I used a pound of clay and then I divided it in half. After I've wedged it into a nice ball, I cut it in half to do my little pinch pots with. And I've already done one, and I'll show you how to do the pinch pot with the other half. So you're just going to want to make a little pot like so. So what we do, and your fingernails are going to get grubby, as you can see. Hopefully, yeah, you can still see. Okay, so you're just pushing down gently into the middle of your ball of clay and pushing. You don't want to go all the way through, and you just want to take it slow and pinch out a little bowl. You see we've got this little bowl shape going. You want to leave plenty at the bottom. You don't want to make it too thin. And then just start working on the sides, kind of pushing with your thumb and your fingers. And then every once in a while, I'll pound it down just to see how my walls are doing, see? And then I can adjust from there. You want to make sure you leave it thick enough because the two halves are going to go together, and you want a nice thickness here to join your two halves. So I think really we're pretty good. I'm just going to smooth this out with my finger just to make it a little tidier, and just kind of make sure that's nice and flat. So now, once you do that to both of your halves, we're going to join them. And this is where you'll want to have like either a little bit of water, or if you have some slip, excuse me, in a jar, like I do, this is where this comes in. So, I'm just making sure you can still see me. What we're going to do is take a little bit of slip on your scoring tool and go around this flat part like so. If you don't have slip, let me set this here, you can just get your finger a little wet and wet the clay a bit like so, and then use a toothpick or scoring tool like so, and just scratch it up. But since I have slip, I'm gonna just dot some slip around. Just a little bit, because you're gonna do it on both sides, like so. The tedious part is coming when you have to join the two together and smooth everything out. You're gonna kind of want to take your time. But there, we've joined both of our sides. We can set this back off to the side. Dry my fingers a bit. And so what you're gonna want to do here is put your two halves together. Just kind of get them to meet up a bit, maybe give it a little twist back and forth. Slow pressure. Turn it, kind of see where your sides are meeting up and do any adjustments to make it pretty even all the way around, pushing gently together. Now what you're doing is trapping air on the inside, and that will help you form this. Once all the air is trapped and none can escape through the seam, it's easier to mold. Excuse me, get a little cough there. So anyway, once you're pretty set here, what we're going to do is blend the seam together. And this is the part that can take a little while. Usually I have like my classical music playing, and I can just really zen out in here. I'll put some music over this so you can see, but I'm kind of going back and forth over this seam just to blend the clay, get rid of that seam as much as I can here, and ensure that no air is going to come out. You see? You're just going back and forth. These I find are so fun to make. I'm not sure if you could make these out of air dry clay. That might be a bit too hard of a clay. I'm not sure if that would work. You could certainly try it, as opposed, you know, to using this type of pottery clay. Like if you don't have a kiln, maybe you could do it with air dry clay, or maybe even you could do it with a polymer clay. You could make something. I don't know. I've never tried. But anyway, so see, we've blended the seam. Now our air is trapped. I'm just going to keep going and smoothing out this entire pumpkin. I'm going over the seam again, just trying to make this as smooth as possible. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you're going to want to take off your jewelry, because you don't want little ring marks, and you don't want to also get a bunch of clay embedded in your rings. So I always take my rings off and put them in a little dish. So we're just going to keep going here and smooth this out. And then once you're pretty good on the seam area, we can kind of turn it and kind of go over the rest of the pumpkin a little bit, just to smooth it out a little. It does not have to be perfect. I don't think there's any pumpkin in nature that's going to be 100% smooth. And anyway, we're going to add texture to this anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect. But we're just going to kind of go around the whole thing and smooth it as best we can until we've got a good ball going. This is very calming hobby, especially when I'm on the wheel working. I like to have some music going and just really get into letting the clay become whatever it wants to become with my assistance. I'm all for keeping my life calm and peaceful. So we're pretty good here, I think. So we've got a nice little ball with trapped air inside. Oops, little funky air here area. So now what I'm going to do is kind of position it, and I'm kind of tapping it on my little board here to get a nice flat base. So this is how it's going to set on my table. Now, as we know, pumpkins have sections, and this is what I find useful in helping to outline these sections. I take the pointed end and I just kind of slip it on the far side and just kind of make an impression of a line, and then I'll come up the other side and meet that line in the middle as best I can. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to do another half. We're going to make 8 sections, like so, and back up just a little bit. You don't want to push too hard, like so, and we'll do it 2 more times. Coming up to the middle. Like so. Like that. And here we go. Now, for this next part, I'm going to use one of the sides of my tool. So I'm going to take the ball in hand and I'm going to place this in the line. I'm going to push in again, run it up and down, and then I'm going to kind of go side to side, like so, all the way up and down, like so. And we're going to do that each time, up and down, and then side to side. We're just defining these sections more. You see how that is? Up and down, and side to side. Then it's just making them poof out a little and look more like pumpkin sections. Like so. And side to side. It's so much fun to create something so simple with your hands, once you know how. Like that. And we've got one more to do. And then you can kind of step back and look at it and think, or see if any of these need to be deeper, maybe. You can come back in and press down a little more and make them deeper if you want. Now, we've got this part done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my toothpick or needle tool. In this case, I'm using a needle tool. And I'm going to poke a little hole down into the center just to get into that air pocket. And now you don't see normally pumpkins in a little ball. So what we're going to do is we're going to gently press into the middle. And that little hole helps some of the air come out. So we push it down and we get our little squatty pumpkin shape, like so. And that's it really for the pumpkin. No, it's not. We're going to add texture. What am I saying? Okay, that's not it. Now we're going to add texture. So you're going to want to pick whatever you're going to add your texture with. You don't have to add texture. That's entirely up to you. But I'm going to add texture. Get my water, my little water thing over here. And I'm going to wet this down just to get it to where it's not going to stick. And I'll show you. We're going to find a spot. Let's see. And we're just going to press our roller into the clay. Let me get that one a little better. Just to give it a little maple leaf texture. And we'll do this all the way around, kind of turning my leaves, get a different shape. Doesn't have to be too many on each one. But you see how we're getting some little maple leaves. Keep getting your roller wet. And then after this, we'll come back in and maybe tidy up our lines again after we do our texture. Because I am kind of smushing them to get this roller on there. And just put a couple little ones. So here we've got our texture going. Wipe that water off. So you can kind of see we've got a little texture going on the side. All right, so I'm going to come back and just kind of smooth out these lines again. It's tedious sometimes to get these looking the way you want them to, but it's fun. I'll show you some that I did yesterday as well as some that I did on the wheel. There we go. I think that's good for our little pumpkin here. Now I'm going to show you how to make the stem. Well, so we'll switch places here, the stem and the leaf. So I've got a bit of clay here. I'm not sure how much. Just take off a piece like so. And we're going to roll it, hopefully. Usually I'm working on my wedging board, not this board, but just push down as you pull it towards you. Don't go back and forth, just pressure as it comes towards you. And that gets it more even. Kind of stretching it out with your fingers. I may do these next year and sell them in my Etsy shop. I haven't decided yet whether I want to get back into selling, but so now you've got a good part rolled out. I don't want it this long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away some and leave it about like this. And I'm going to leave that edge flat. Okay. So what I want to do is get this little funky tool. You can use a toothpick. It's just going to take you more times to go down it, but this gives it some texture. So I got it just a little bit wet, and I'm just going to run it down all of the sides just to give it a nice vine type of texture all the way down like so. Now we're going to attach it to our pumpkin. So we'll bring the pumpkin back over. And I'm going to take that flat side and my scoring tool, which is, there it is, right here. I'm just going to score that a bit. I'm going to score where the pumpkin stem is going to go. I'm going to add a little bit of slip, or you can just dot some water on there because we are working with fresh clay. Put some slip on the end here. And we're going to attach this just by pressing in these pieces together. Give it some pressure. Kind of smooth out your slip there if it oozes out. So we've got our stem attached, and we want to kind of give it an organic kind of a curl. So gently, you don't want to break this. We're going to curl it around like so. And just give it a nice little organic, natural looking curl. We can finish texturing if any of those get a little flat. We'll go down in here a little more too. All right, so now you see we have our stem attached. Isn't that cute, little curl? Now we're gonna have the leaf. So I'm gonna take this, I could use the rest of this, but I had this one already set. So this little bit of clay, just a little, doesn't take much, and you can either pat it flat as you want it, but I like to use this little roller. Gets it nice and even and flat. And we're gonna roll it out to maybe a 1/4 inch thick, like so, and lift it up, flip it so it's not sticking to your board. Excuse me. Now, if you're talented, you could take a toothpick or needle tool and trace out a little leaf shape. I am not that talented, so I get these little fondant push holds, and I go down, and when you push, it puts that little vein design onto it, and then peel away the excess, like so. I'm just gonna kind of clean these edges up a little, what that is. And then when you push, push out, you can gently take your leaf off, like so. You see how it's got a little bit of veining in there? I don't know if you can see. So now we're gonna bring our pumpkin back over. And let's see if I can zoom in a little. You're gonna wanna try and find a place where you think the leaf might come out. And I think it's gonna show better if I put it like right here. So what I'm gonna do is take my little scoring tool again, and I'm gonna score and slip on the back side of the leaf, like right here at the base, and where I'm gonna attach it. Just kind of right here, score and slip again. And then we're gonna attach that leaf right there. Just a little gentle pressure until you feel it's not sliding around. And then you can give it a little bit of a organic feel by bending and moving your clay like a normal leaf might twist and turn, like so. And that's basically it. The last thing we're gonna wanna do while this dries a little bit, we're gonna wanna put another little hole in, because since we've covered that one up. So kind of find a place. I usually put it here at the top. I'm gonna poke a hole in. Sometimes you'll be able to hear a little bit of air going poof. But this is gonna help the clay dry evenly by having that little poke a hole into it. It's gonna let the inside dry as evenly as the outside. So here we have our little pumpkin. Let me show you from the side. Isn't he cute? They're so much fun to make, so easy. Here I will show you, I'll put this off to the side, and I'll show you ones that I made yesterday. I made one the day before, and two of them yesterday. I'll be giving these as gifts, which most of my pottery is going for gifts. This is the one I did the day before yesterday. And you can see I added a little bit of texture to this one. And I have quite the curly stem coming up, and I also did a little viney thing that I'm hoping will not break off before I get it bisque fired. So these are drying, waiting to be bisque fired. This one, these two I did yesterday. This one I did with a dragonfly texture, if you can see that. Got little dragonflies all over it. Very cute. And this one I did kind of with a little wave. You can see the little wave texture. But they turn out so adorable, you guys. And then I will bring you down and show you what's sitting on my coffee table currently. Or I'll bring it over. How about that? That way I don't have to move. Isn't this like the most adorable display? So here I've got these I did on the wheel. I didn't do these hand building, but they would turn out the same way. So here I've got a little pumpkin that I really made squatty, a little squatty pumpkin. But isn't he cute? So that one I did in pumpkin spice glaze. These are harvest, or sorry, courtyard glazes on that one, and as well as this one. This is another courtyard glaze combo. Isn't that cute? I just love, if you can see the white with the speckles. I love white pumpkins. They turn out so adorable. And then here's another one. I left it white, and then I added the same glaze on the leaf. I let drip down each section area, and I let it kind of pool around the stem. But it turned out just so cute. I don't think, oh, this one. Yeah, this one I made into a rattle by adding clay balls to the inside. That's something else you can do. And then this one, I put underglaze transfers on it before it was bisque fired. I did the butterfly, blue and white butterflies. And then after it was bisque fired, then I clear glazed over the top. I added the green drippy glaze, and it's just a luscious, beautiful little pumpkin. So you can have fun with these and decorate them in all sorts of ways, and even you can do some little ones. This is not hollow inside. This is just a ball of clay that I made into a pumpkin with a little stem. And they turn out so cute. And then if you don't want a pumpkin, you can even make apples. This is a little apple I made. But like I said, they make the most beautiful display for your coffee table. So hopefully you enjoyed this demo, and you can get creating with your own little pinch pot pumpkins and decorate them up and just have fun. I mean, I love the way they turn out. Just adorable. So thank you for watching, and I hope you all are safe and healthy and happy, and enjoy your autumn and enjoy your families. There's nothing more important. And get creative. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on another future video. Bye for now.